Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. We are at war. We are at war for our country. We are at war for our culture. We are at war for our children, for our sons and daughters. Charlie Kirk, less than 1 month before his assassination, sat at a church conference where he was a speaker during a Q&A and was asked about what is happening in this nation. And he laid it out. And you know, I don't think at that moment, even now, I don't think he understands how God spoke through him. He warned the nation of his own assassination. He warned the world of what is happening. He warned us that ICE agents are going to be attacked, that Islamists are going to attack us, that Marxism, leftism, communism, and Islam, who normally hate each other, are joining forces because Christianity is an enemy that they all hate. So those who usually would not be together have joined forces to take down the country. And Alex Jones earlier this morning made a report, and oh my goodness, it is absolutely shocking. It is like Charlie Kirk prophesied his own assassination and what is happening in our country today. Do me a huge favor, ladies and gentlemen. Smash that thumbs up. Subscribe, drop an American flag in memory of Charlie Kirk in the comments, and make sure that you're subscribed. Share the video. That's right, Margaret. God wins. Let me play you this clip first. This is Charlie Kirk less than a month before he was assassinated.
The spiritual battle is coming to the West, and the enemies are wokeism or Marxism combining with Islamism to go after what we call the American way of life. And the American way of life is very simple. I want to be able to get married, buy a home, have kids, allow them to ride their bike till the sun goes down, send them to a good school, have a low crime neighborhood, not to have my kid be taught the lesbian, gay, transgender garbage in their school, while also not having them have to hear the Muslim call to prayer 5 times a day. That's important. We want the American way of life, which is, by the way, Christendom. Christians, our sacrifice, our toil, our vision, the outgrowth of the scriptures gave us Western civilization. And this is where I think is a great rallying cry. Doesn't matter if you're Hispanic, doesn't matter if you're Asian, doesn't matter if you're black or white. Everybody, if you are Christian and Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, these two threats are combining forces to come after us. And it's time that the church stands and rises up against it. Yep. The spirit.
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you, this was less than a month before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Now watch this report from this morning, and then I have some other stuff to share with you guys as well.
Running for mayor. This Democratic socialist will probably be the next mayor of Minneapolis. And socialist Zoran Mondani is likely to be the next mayor of New York City.
We have to continue to elect more socialists, and we have to ensure that we are unapologetic about our socialism.
But they should be apologetic. Socialism always fails.
And so it is that in the heart of the American Midwest, where the rusting skeletons of factories, once symbolizing unyielding industry, pockets of demographic transformation are quietly reshaping the cultural landscape, inching toward Sharia-compliant majorities that challenge the foundational principles of our republic.
America, the American government, secularism, democracy, capitalism, these are cancers. Non-Muslims are tired of this cancer. They're tired of the American government. They're tired of democracy. They want to see a new way of life. And as Muslims, we have to understand that we have that new way of life.
Take Hamtramck.
Get your Muslim, child molesting, war, hate, jihad way of life and go to one of the, 57 Muslim countries? Get out of here.
Michigan, that tiny enclave swallowed by Detroit's sprawl, where census data reveals almost 70% of its 28,000 residents now identify as Muslim, the first and only such city in the United States. It's an all-Muslim city council wielding unanimous power over decisions that echo foreign theocracies rather than the United States Constitution. Just across the line in Dearborn, Michigan, the beating heart of Arab America, over 54% of the 90,000 souls call themselves Muslim, a concentration so dense it accounts for more than half the city's fabric, with mosques towering over streets where calls to prayer mingle with the hum of Ford assembly lines, signaling a trajectory where Sharia's shadow lengthens with every immigrant wave.
In Dearborn, Michigan, in civil court, Sharia law already rules. If you're an immigrant, and we're going to continue watching this video, but I just feel like I have to say this. If you're an immigrant, be like me. Let me be an example to you. You know what I believe a true American immigrant is? It is somebody that learns the way of America, that loves this nation. When you left your country, you left your flag back there. You come here, you learn the culture, you adapt to this nation. You don't change this nation to you. You love America. You respect America. You respect the faith of the Constitution and of the Founding Fathers. If you don't like it, go back to your shithole. And yes, I'll say it. I'm from Kyrgyzstan. It's a shithole. If it wasn't, I wouldn't be here. To every Ukrainian, to every Russian, to every Arab, I don't care where you're from. If you're so proud of your country, excuse me, go back. If you want to live in a Muslim country, go to one. Do not mess with America. We are done. And especially if you're a legal immigrant who came here the right way, the way I did, you teach your children to love this nation. You tell them of the horrors, the hunger, the poverty you lived under. See, I tell my kids all the time, be grateful for what you have. Because the first 6 years of my life were very hungry, were very poor. They sucked. I remember being jealous of other kids having toys and me having none. We couldn't afford it. We lived in a very, very, very poor country, especially after the Soviet Union collapsed. My father would have to travel to Europe 4 to 6 months out of a year just so that we survive. So do not come here and try to turn this country into any other country. But you better take this country, you respect it, you love it, you cherish it, and you make it better. If you don't like it, get the hell out. And no, I don't just say this on YouTube. I tell my family members that are from Ukraine or from Russia or from other parts of the world when they start talking about, well, why isn't Trump doing enough for Ukraine? Because he's not the president of Ukraine. He's not the president of Russia. He's the president of the United States of America. Intellectual, thank you so much. Thank you for the donation. God bless. Let's continue. It just irritates me when I see other immigrants who come here and want to change this country.
These aren't isolated anomalies. They're harbingers of a broader shift, fueled by relentless migration and higher birth rates, as Pew projections warn that America's Muslim population, already swelling to 4.5 million, will double to 8.1 million by 2050.
Hezbollah, bombed the embassy in Beirut, and including many Americans. So I just feel it's quite inappropriate.
You're an Islamophobe, and although you live here, I want you to know, as mayor, you are not welcome here. And the day you move out of the city will be the day that I launch a parade celebrating the fact that you moved out of the city.
Carving.
So a immigrant who's now a mayor is telling a natural born citizen, move out. And when you move out, we're going to have a parade. The disrespect. Go move to any nation in the world and say that to a natural born citizen. Move literally to Europe and say that. Go to Africa or go to an Arab nation as an immigrant and say that to a natural born citizen.
Deeper enclaves in urban strongholds like Minneapolis, where Somali communities push the metro area's Muslim share toward a robust 2.5% to 3% statewide, with local densities in the Cedar Riverside neighborhood rivaling those overseas outposts of influence.
Mayor of Hamtramck, Michigan, Muslim. Mayor of Dearborn, Michigan, Muslim. Mayor of Richardson, Texas, Muslim. Vice President of the Minneapolis City Council, Muslim. U.S. House Representative, Muslim. U.S. House Representative, Muslim. U.S. House Representative, Muslim. New York City mayoral candidate, Muslim. Minneapolis mayor candidate, Muslim.
Yet, as these transformations unfold in the quiet corners of Michigan and Minnesota, the federal machinery stirs with countermeasures aimed at fortifying the ramparts against any encroachment of foreign legal shadows. Two Republican lawmakers thrust forth a bold congressional bill, a legislative dagger aimed straight at the heart of Sharia's insidious creep, barring American courts from enforcing any judgment, decree, or arbitration decision rooted in Islamic law or any alien system that dares violate our sacred constitutional rights, a direct rebuke to the creeping normalization of parallel justice systems. And you may recall the Trump administration unleashed Executive Order 14161 on Inauguration Day, an ironclad edict resurrecting the specter of travel restrictions from terror-prone nations, explicitly designed to shield the homeland from the very ideological threats that Sharia embodies.
She is punished and she is stoned to death. And according to the Sharia, again, when it comes to women, there must be a hole dug in the earth, in the ground, and she must be covered up to the half of the body.
In the end, it's not about exclusion. It's about preservation that ensure Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. John Bound reporting for Infowars.com.
So what we are seeing, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly, now I want to watch, now as you watch that clip again, one more time, I want to roll, it's just it's a minute and 14 seconds. Listen to the wisdom of Charlie Kirk.
The spiritual battle is coming to the West, and the enemies are wokeism or Marxism combining with Islamism.
Now think about that. Marxism, wokeism with Islam. Mamdani in New York, their next mayor. He's a socialist, Marxist, who's also a Muslim. Those two do not go hand in hand. Usually those two are enemies with each other. They hate each other. They are the exact opposite of each other. But Mamdani and his backers are Muslims and Marxist communists, leftists, far leftists, who have joined forces first time in world history. You will never find a period in world history where Marxism, socialism, communism, or leftism joined forces with Islam. Never. They hate each other because Marxism does not believe in a God at all. But Islam believes in the false demon God of Muhammad. But here in their pedophile, dude who at the age of 50 married a 6-year-old and then banged her when she was 9 and he was 54. Yeah, what an example for all times, Muslims. By the way, if there's any Muslims here, we should do a live show debating. If you think I'm saying something wrong and you're a Muslim, let me know in the comments. I'll message you my email and we can do a live show tomorrow. I will debate my scripture and you will debate yours, and let's see who the real example is. Jesus Christ, the Lord of Lords and King of Kings, or your Muhammad, who is, standing on his knees before my God. But here's the thing. Charlie Kirk, with all of the wisdom that the Lord gave him, he warned us that these two enemies are combining forces. Why? Because Christianity is an enemy for both of them. Let's finish this clip.
To go after what we call the American way of life. And the American way of life is very simple. I want to be able to get married, buy a home, have kids, allow them to ride their bike till the sun goes down, send them to a good school, have a low crime neighborhood, not to have my kid be taught the lesbian, gay, transgender garbage in their school, while also not having them have to hear the Muslim call to prayer 5 times a day. That's important. We want the American way of life, which is, by the way, Christendom. Christians, our sacrifice, our toil, our vision, the outgrowth of the scriptures gave us Western civilization. And this is where I think is a great rallying cry. Doesn't matter if you're Hispanic, doesn't matter if you're Asian.
So he warned us about this, that it is here. This wokeism, Marxism is here. To every leftist, what do you think the Muslims are? Let's say, God forbid, they take over the nation, Muslims. What do you think they're going to do with you? Every LGBT activist that's pro-Muslims, what do you think they're going to do with you when they're done? You think they're going to let you live in peace like we allowed you to live in peace next to us? You think they're going to allow you to have gay parades and Pride Month? You really think that? If you think that, you don't know history. If you truly believe that, you do not know history. Now, check this out. But there is somebody who's funding it. There is somebody who's funding it. And it is George Soros. New DOJ orders at least 6 attorneys to investigate an organization funded by wicked Democrat billionaire George Soros, several charges possible, including material support for terrorism. The Trump administration is turning its attentions to one of the most destructive men the world has ever known, and arguably his prized foundation is under threat. The New York Times has exclusively reported that the Department of Justice has ordered at least a half a dozen attorneys to investigate far-left billionaire Democrat donor George Soros' Open Society Foundation. The directive, which Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche's office sent, was communicated to U.S. Attorney's Office in California, New York, Washington, D.C., Chicago, Detroit, and Maryland. Now, for those who don't know what Open Society is, Open Society hates ICE. They hate legal immigration. They want open borders. Open Society. He hates the United States. He hates Christians. He hates freedom. And so he wants to import third world people into a first world nation and destroy at such levels that we can't re-educate them, we can't reteach them. So then they come in, they flood us, and like what happened in Ohio, start eating the cats and the dogs. But here's why. This comes on the heels of, you probably heard this, I just want to show you really quickly. Yesterday, another radical left lunatic took a rifle and shot at ICE agents, ended up missing the ICE agents, hit 2 illegal immigrants that were arrested, killed one on the spot. The other one is in critical condition as of last night in the hospital. George Soros is funding this, and on his bullet casings, he even had anti-ICE rhetoric. The leftists strike again, shooting up an ICE facility while the media narrative of the dangerous right-wing Christian conservatives slips further from reality. On September 24th, a gunman opened fire from a rooftop on the Dallas Immigration and Customs Enforcement field office, killing 1 detainee and critically wounding 2 others before taking his own life. The shooter, identified as a 29-year-old Joshua Jahan, left behind an unused bullet inscribed with anti-ICE, pointing clearly to an ideological motive. Now, they don't have a picture of the kid. Well, the kid looks exactly like how you would expect him to look. A radical leftist. Now, check this out, ladies and gentlemen. Let me take you to my Twitter page. I went to the store today and I shared this. So I went to, by the way, if you are in Spokane, Washington, if you're in the Spokane, Washington area, please, right now, I met these people, this young couple. I want to interview them. They are at Trader Joe's on the South Hill. They are signing a petition. No men and women's sports. Protect women's sports. And look, there's over half a dozen police officers there. They tried kicking them out. And there's a crazy old lady walking around and saying, Trump, love Trump's hate. So I confronted her before I came up to them. And so I told her, I was like, when are you guys going to stop killing us? But you're going to see this all in the video. I came up and said, when are you going to stop murdering our voices? Stop murdering our kids? And she tried to get me arrested. This literally happened 2 hours ago. Watch this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am here on the South Hill in Spokane, Washington, in front of Trader Joe's. This is Angel. They have a petition going on. Tell me, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, so we're out here trying to get signatures so we can there's kids on the ballot. You have one is to protect fairness in girls' sports. So that means girls compete with other girls on girls' teams, keeping it fair and safe for them. You have another one that is to strengthen communication between schools and parents. Right now, schools don't have any legal obligation to contact the parent regarding any decision the child makes. So we're hopefully going to get this on the ballot so we can get some change going.
And as a response, look at this. Look at that. Look at all the cops. This is the response. And then we got that person right there. Sorry, police officer. It says, love Trump's hate. This comes on the heels of Trump getting shot in the ear, Christian kids getting murdered in a school while they're praying, and then Charlie Kirk being murdered. All of these. Trump. Let's Trump hate. All right. All right. Yep. Facts don't care about your feelings. Men are men and women are women. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're in Spokane, come out here. So if you're in the Spokane area, please, they really need your help. And it's so nice to see a young couple, you know, they look like they're around 20, who are taking time from their day and they are fighting for kids, for girls, and they're both athletes. And so in Washington State, they educated me a little bit. A school, if your child comes up to their teacher and says, I'm trans, and I want to transition, it doesn't matter if your child is in kindergarten or 12th grade, the school will not contact the parents. And so their petition is a, two-way street. Two-sided thing. Number one, they want to keep women out of men out of women's sports, and they want transparency between children and parents in the school. And let me ask you this. Why are no women transitioning to be men and going into men's sports? Why hasn't a woman who thinks she's a man gone and boxed a bunch of biological men? Why is it only that? Men. Oh, again, kind of like that, kind of like what happened with, who was that boxer guy? He was like 390th place among men, but then when he transitioned, won a gold medal? Per Forbes, Trump has increased his net worth by $3 billion since January. Groceries, utilities soaring. Americans are desperate. Unemployment is up. Are you dumb? Lauren, are you dumb? Over 800,000 people bought a home in the United States last month. That is the highest number in nearly 5 years. Inflation is down. Gas prices are down. Utilities are down. Groceries are down. Let's talk about egg prices. Under Biden and Kamala Harris, $20 a dozen. They're back down to $3-4. Don't you guys? Yeah. Spokane from Eugene. Oh, Spokane is on the border of Washington and Idaho. Now, so if you guys are out here, go support them. And like I said, I'm going to finish every single one with like a scripture verse of the day in honor of Charlie and to speak truth. So today, as I was reading, this is what I want to share. And this is very important because somebody during my live stream yesterday said there's a right way. There's a right way and there's a wrong way. Democrats are teaching their children that they shouldn't vote for candidates who are found guilty of felonies and were liable for sexual abuse. That's completely insane. Oh, yeah? Are you guys telling your children not to vote for the fake black lady that used black people as literal slave labor in California? Are you teaching them that? Or what about Joe Biden and Ashley Biden's diary, where she was 7 years old and he was taking inappropriate showers with her? That's not coming from me. That is coming from Ashley Biden and her own diary. Are you guys teaching your kids to stop murdering us? How about you Democrats stop? How about you guys teach your kids to stop murdering us? To stop trying to murder presidential candidates? How about you teach them how to stop murdering Christian kids in a Catholic school in Minnesota? Teach them how to stop murdering people at a university for speaking. How about that? How about you teach them to stop shooting at cops and ICE agents and killing illegal immigrants? Can you teach them that, please? Teach them some love. All right? Don't worry. All the Democrats are about to, it starts with Comey, Letitia James, and I am excited. We're about to see all of them go to prison, and it's going to be great. I can't wait. The auto pen, I wonder, is the auto pen going to be sitting next to Joe Biden in the prison cell? Is that going to be his roommate? Probably. Mark chapter 11. Verse 22. So Jesus answered and said to them, again, yesterday someone left a comment and said, there's a right way to pray and there's a wrong way to pray. And I believe that. So Jesus answered and said to them, have faith. For assuredly I say to you, whoever says to this mountain, be removed and be cast into the sea, and does not doubt in his heart, but believes that those things he says will come to pass, he will have whatever he says. Therefore I say to you, whatever things you ask when you pray, believe that you receive them and you will have them. I want to highlight verse 23. Jesus says, for assuredly, I say to you, whoever says to this mountain, be removed, be cast into the sea, and does not doubt in his heart, but believes that those things, it will happen. So there's two ways of praying. You can either sit there and whine and cry and complain, or you can pray from faith. Speak blessing to the nation. Speak life. Speak revival. Proclaim that this country does not belong to Islam extremists. It does not belong to godless leftists. It belongs to Christians. It belongs to people who honor God. It does not belong to abortion-loving murderers. It belongs to those who cherish life, even from the moment of conception. Pray with faith. Speak it like you mean it. God doesn't love a beggar. God loves a cheerful giver, a cheerful prayer. When we come in, it says, come to the throne room of God with boldness. Have boldness when you pray. Have boldness when you proclaim, when you declare. Ladies and gentlemen, let's pray prayers of faith, of power, of, Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, we need to pray that prayer. Pray prayers of faith, of declaration, proclamation, receiving. It's amazing. No, not a weekly Bible study, but I finish every live episode with a prayer. But on my other channel, I might just do that. Have I'd want to have something where I can bring you guys on and for a few minutes to talk and all that stuff. And I'm looking at which programs offer that, and I want to turn my other channel, the One Nation Under God with spaces everywhere, into a channel like that. But we'll see. Pray for our nation. As of right now, I am still praying and thinking. I told you I want to start it's kind of like what Charlie Kirk did, but different. He went to college campuses. I want to start a nonprofit where I travel the country to churches. Because if every single church in America would rise up and vote, especially the legal immigrant churches, the Russians, Ukrainians, right? Hispanics, they're all conservatives. They just come from countries where they were taught don't get involved in politics. So they don't vote. So they just don't vote. I'm telling you, even here in Washington, if every single Slavic, like Russian and Ukrainian, who's eligible to vote, would actually vote, we would take Washington back real quick. Quick. Same with California. There are millions of legal Slavic immigrants who are now citizens who just don't vote because they're older. They come from the Soviet Union. In the Soviet Union, you were told politics is not for Christians. Don't get involved. Everything's under God's control. You don't need to vote. He will put whoever he wants to put in charge, and that's it. So I want to start a ministry. I want to start a ministry where I travel to churches and equip churches to get involved in local, state, and federal elections. Teach them how to do it. Teach them to teach their youth to love this nation and kind of tell them, look, if you're tired of all the crap that is happening in our America, you can change it. You can change it. It is in your hands to change it. You literally can change what is happening in your state, in your city, in your country. But you got to get involved. You gotta be bold. You gotta get your church involved, not just sit at home and pray, Lord, save us. Guess what? You know how the Lord wants to save you? Let's say you're in California and people, and I know a lot of Christians are like, oh my goodness, this city is, our state is ruined. God, please save us. He wants to save you, but he needs you to do something about it. He already put you in a country where you can vote. Why are you not voting? Now, I'm not speaking like directly to you guys, but a lot of people I know who just are, no, we're going to pray about it. Faith without works is dead. You can tell me about your faith. I'll just show you my works and you'll see my faith. Instead of bragging about my faith, I want to show you my faith. With that being said, God bless you guys. Have a great day. Love you guys. I love each and every single one of you. And you already know this. That's right. God bless. I'll see you soon.